So we're all the way back in the Great Crusade right now. We've got our world leaders here, the 12th Legion, and we have a small orc group here. And the orcs in this case, we're talking about some Horus Heresy. So we're going to have this guy, he's representing our Primarch, and the knobs represent his bodyguard. Okay, so you can insert whatever legion you choose. But in this case, we have orcs and world leaders. So I just want to share a bit of an experience I came across recently with a rule that could probably be pretty easily abused. And I just want to bring some attention to it just to watch out, because we want to be those type of people that people want to play with again in the future. We don't want to be that guy that bends the rules and makes everything miserable. That being said, doesn't mean you shouldn't try to win, because you still should. You should always try and make it a genuine challenge as well. But just something to look out for here, or maybe if you are feeling stuck because that enemy, that one guy in your club, he's got that Primarch that just keeps rolling your army and you got to find some way to stop him. So in this case, we've got a squad that have a rule called Chosen Warriors. Chosen Warriors is a rule that lets any model in the unit issue and accept challenges as if they were characters. Now, challenges were introduced in 6th edition Warhammer 40,000. Okay. And when they first came out, I thought they would be just for warlords, but it turns out that they are for sergeants as well. So if a sergeant and a sergeant want to fight, they can do that too. But it really changed the way you load out your sergeants. You wanted something that could hit first generally, or hit hard, because you used to hide power fists in the squads and take down vehicles with them and stuff, but you couldn't do that anymore because you just get challenged out and you'd be hitting last, and then you'd probably die before you get to even swing. So I don't like it. I like it with just warlords generally. But now with the Chosen Warriors rule, any guy in the squad can issue and accept challenges. So let's say we have this combat going on here. I do not have a Primarch for my world leaders here. I mean, I have Angron in my collection, but in this case, I'm not fielding him. But my opponent has a Primarch, represented by Gaz here. So I got my jump packs. I'm probably going to get the charge first. I'm also world leaders. I like getting the charge. Okay. And now you've got this combat going on. What would normally happen with challenges is I, as the world leaders player, would say, since it's my turn and I'm the one in charge, I issue a challenge, and my opponent would accept with a model of their choice. I'd have to choose which model I'm using for the challenge. So if I want my Praetor to challenge, then he would accept with something. He could theoretically choose, maybe if he has one sergeant type character, he could accept with him and just keep him there for a turn. But generally what players do, because it's the most fun sort of thematic thing, is you have your leader up against their leader. Where it gets tricky is if you refuse a challenge, you have to choose the model that refused. So let's say the orc player's like, not doing that challenge thing. I'm going to refuse with this sergeant. Okay, so now he can't fight, but he can get killed still. And now everyone else just fights, and your Primarch can hit in wherever they want. And Primarchs are great because they can actually allocate wounds to whoever they want to. They get to choose where the wounds are allocated. Now, the trap here is with the Chosen Warriors is I could say I issue a challenge with Random Joe. Maybe the Primarch would accept. Probably be better off not doing that, or just accepting with his sergeant character or whatever is in the squad here. But what you can do as the one with the Chosen Warriors is, if you do not issue a challenge, but your opponent does with their Primarch, then you're going, okay, I will accept with random disposable guy. And the thing with Horus Heresy 2.0 challenges is you cannot overkill into the rest of the combat. So this Primarch would obviously just absolutely wreck this one guy. But now all of his extra attacks are wasted as the rest of this combat continues. And now that I have my uber leader character going in, I'm probably going to mop the floor with a whole bunch of dudes here. Maybe I take a couple losses too, right? But overall, I'm doing really well in this combat. And now he still has his Primarch. But next time it comes around, I issue a challenge. He's only got one character left. If he wants him to fight, he's going to have to accept. And now he's going to overkill him. But I'm going to slaughter the rest of his bodyguard. Most likely. Okay. And now what you've got is this whole unit versus just the Primarch. I issue a challenge with one random Joe. He's going to have to accept if he wants to fight at all. So, okay, he accepts. But now that these guys don't have anyone else to attack, they actually also get to hit him, but he doesn't get to hit them back. I used this not long ago against the White Scars, and I killed the Khan with this. With just a squad and a Praetor. Like, I didn't even need a Primarch to kill him because of this. And it honestly didn't feel great. It made sense, so I just followed along what made sense with the rules. But after I killed him and I still had this whole squad left over, I'm like, oh my god, these guys can still run around and wreck face. And now his Primarch is dead. That scored me, I think, like 3 victory points or something for that mission. So it's definitely a bit of a trap. Now, one thing about the Chosen Warriors is, okay, let's say these two are in the challenge. Random Joe number 5 versus the Primarch. Normally what would happen is he would overkill him. Let's say he gets 5 extra wounds. So that would count as an extra -5 to combat resolution. So it would count as him killing that many for combat resolution, but not in terms of actually removing models. The way that this gets really nasty, especially with the World Eaters Rampagers, is they have the stubborn special rule. So they don't suffer any negative modifiers to leadership for morale tests. So they don't care that you overkilled them 5. They're still going to hang out. You only killed one guy. I'm still leadership 10 because of my Praetor, and we're still fighting. If you do not have stubborn in your unit, you can always take a chaplain. And the chaplain can give the unit stubborn. And hatred as well, allowing you to reroll hits, which is fantastic. Rerolling hits in the first round of combat specifically. So that is definitely something you want to watch out for. And you want to, I mean, you could use it. I have used it. A little bit of a feels bad kind of moment, to be honest. So I don't know. It's a bit messy, but it is definitely something to talk about. And I would say in my games, I would like to just have warlords challenging one another. Now, that being said, in this situation, his Primarch would absolutely wreck my Praetor. So I would need a Primarch in order to compete. But if you really are that sort of outnumbered or outgunned or outclawed in this case, I guess, it is a way to deal with a Primarch. So how would you handle this? How do you get around this situation? This Rampager unit's fantastic. You can get Chosen Warriors special rule. Comes with command squads. So any Primarch has access to a command squad as a bodyguard unit. So you can easily get Chosen Warriors to use a rule like this. Now, one other reason why you might want to use this rule, one more thing here, is if you have your own Primarch. So I got Angron here. Let's put aside the Praetor. Now we have Angron. Now, this is not the best combination because Angron reduces the weapon skill, yada yada. We talked about that in another video. But let's just start over for a second here. So we've got enemy Primarch with bodyguard. Okay. Enemy Primarch with bodyguard. I've got my Primarch with Rampagers or command squad. We've got that command squad with the boring shields we made from the other video too. You can use it with them because they have chosen warriors as well. So the way I would probably handle this is maybe they, I don't know, maybe they get the charge on me this time. Let's just see how we can work this out. They get the charge. Boom, boom, boom. And if he issues a challenge with his Primarch, I can just accept with Random Joe. And now he can't overkill into the rest of the unit. But now Angron is free to just absolutely wreck this bodyguard. So, like, he will definitely wreck them really bad. Boom. Look at, he wrecked them so bad an arm actually just came off. This Primarch's gonna wreck this guy. Easy. And now what do you have? Next combat, I issue a challenge with this random guy. He's going to have to accept because, in fact, I think the rule actually says you have to accept if there's nothing else going on for you in that unit. Like if he's got no other models, he's the last model remaining, he has to accept the challenge. And now all of these guys, including Angron, can pound on him without him being able to fight back. It is a bit of a mess. I don't like it. I can definitely use it to win games, but it doesn't feel great. And yeah, this Primarch, like, this is what will happen. He'll easily kill him. And now all these guys, plus Angron, are going to just pile in attacks to him. That Primarch's as good as dead. And now look at this whole unit I still have available. So, yeah, it's a bit of a mess. I wish they'd kept challenges just between warlords. I think I'm going to suggest to our group to maybe just keep it that way. But at the same time, when you're paying... That unit of Rampagers about 350 points. They are still really good all around, but when you're paying 350 points for a unit, you know, Chosen Warriors is a rule you're paying for. So you almost don't want to remove that kind of power as well. So I don't know, it's a bit of a delicate balance. I think it's going to require just a good amount of don't be that guy sort of situation. But yeah, I mean... You definitely got to watch out for this one. So let me know what you think. How do you get around this? What do you do? Or how maybe you use it? What kind of kills have you scored by using this rule? Honestly, I'm of the personal opinion that there's no shame. Like, I mean, it's a bit feels bad. But I don't know, like at the same time, I want my opponent to not hold back. I don't want them to hold back, but everybody's different. So make sure you communicate with your opponent and really establish a solid social contract with them.